Welcome to the CLN podcast. That's Career Launch Network. And for those of you guys at home tuning in for the very first time, I am Lebo Madubanya. Now, today we are exploring opportunities within the world of global business services, talent acquisition, operations, and the future of work. And joining us in studio will be Kelly Smith, who's the head of talent acquisition at TransUnion Global Capability Center Africa, alongside Zoe Mfokazi, who's the head of operations.
I think that the youth of today need to see it as an opportunity. Our business processing outsourcing sector in South Africa is huge and it is growing.
I honestly believe that you must just put yourself out there. And if a learnership opportunity, or if there is an opportunity, even if you feel that it might not be that great, just give it a try.
I think within companies, people are looking for people who can add value and solve problems. Getting that 3-year degree does not mean that at the end of all that hard work, all that financial strain that you've put into completing your degree, it doesn't always mean that you're going to get a job at the end of the day.
Now, today we are exploring opportunities within the world of global business services, talent acquisition, operations, and the future of work. And joining us in studio will be Kelly Smith, who's the head of talent acquisition at TransUnion Global Capability Center Africa, alongside Zoe Mfokazi, who's the head of operations. So we want you guys to engage with us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification button for more of this educational content. And let's enjoy the journey together, shall we? But let's get into it. Ladies, when you first heard of our podcast, right? What made you decide that you want to be part of this conversation?
So I think I am a very proud South African, and I have a huge passion for people, and essentially the youth are the future of our country. So I'm very happy to be part of this conversation today.
And Zoe?
Yeah, I think for me, it's also because it speaks directly to the youth. And in my current role, I really try and create opportunity to empower youth. And so this is another opportunity for me to speak directly to the youth and, help them to show up.
All right, I've said a mouthful in the intro. I mentioned your sectors, your individual operations, what you do, but I've also mentioned TransUnion as well as Global Capability Center Africa. Let's break the two up for someone tuning in for the very first time. What are we talking about? These are two big entities.
Correct. So TransUnion is essentially the holding company. And your viewers today may know TransUnion as a credit bureau.
Yeah.
You are able to access your credit report on a yearly basis, so once a year for free. And that allows you to actually understand what does your credit health look like with your credit score. But TransUnion is a global business. We are across 30 countries across the globe. Although we're only 13,000 people, so from a global perspective, we're still quite small. And in Africa, we have 2 business entities. So we have your TransUnion Africa business across 8 countries in Africa, as well as our Global Capability Center. So as you say, what is GCC Africa? What is our Global Capability Center? So GCC stands for Global Capability Center. And I think we're only one of 3 maybe GCCs in South Africa, but globally there are thousands of GCCs. And within TransUnion, part of our global operating model was to create these capability centers. So we have a GCC in India, in South Africa, and in Costa Rica. And we opened up our doors over 5 years ago now, and we've grown our headcount to over 1,000 people. And what that has enabled is for us to create jobs in South Africa. And the GCC was set up to support global operations within TransUnion. So our staff are working remotely from the comfort of their own home in South Africa, but they are dealing with a American customer or a Canadian TransUnion customer, for example.
So that means there's opportunities there. Koli, let's bring you in there. There's opportunities for young people. And I'm using young very loosely there because, you don't have to be necessarily fresh from school. But there are opportunities for people watching watching this for the very first time?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunity. So Kelly has mentioned 2 of the regions, Canada and US. We've also got the UK, and we also have Africa, which is our Africa business. So there's great opportunity, especially because it's a remote model. So you don't have to travel from one city to another or relocate from one city to another. So you can work from Cape Town, from Durban, or wherever and still be able to service our clients from wherever you are. So
what are those opportunities then?
So the opportunities, there's quite a lot of opportunities.
Let's unpack
Primarily,
it, please.
Our biggest opportunity lies in our customer and customer support. So we've got customer service roles, typical call center type of roles. We've got your back office support. We've got email support, but we've also got exciting opportunities in cybersecurity, in data analytics. And I mean, obviously, as we know that TransUnion is an information and analytics organization. So we've got opportunities in data analytics. We've got opportunities in technical support. Global marketing, there's those type of opportunities that we have. So it's an endless, I suppose, it's an endless place of possibilities.
And Kelly, what are those emerging careers that have not necessarily been tapped into, and our youth or anyone that's watching is not even thinking about them at the moment?
Well, I think we're in that digital transformation age. So even jobs today, in 5 years, they may look a little bit different. So what we are seeing is that jobs are evolving, where we're focused a little bit more on that digital literacy or that AI component to support a job. So even if you think of a contact center agent, which is an entry-level customer service agent role, the repetitive tasks may be automated. And that's how we're going to see these emerging roles coming, where there will be more of an AI chatbot to support that process, or there'll be more of a human element dealing with a more complex problem to solve, or a validation at the end of a process, for example. But, I think the big area is around just all our technical and data positions. Those are evolving at a rapid pace based on this AI evolution that we're on. And then you're even seeing things like green energy emerging in terms of an emerging type of market for job seekers out there.
But do I need a degree for that? I'm fresh out of school, perhaps, or I already have a degree. I'm 36, 37, whatever the case is. Do I need to have a degree, a specialized degree, to join TransUnion or GCC?
No, you don't. So that's the beauty of it. So for our contact center space, we require a matric. So that is our requirement.
Yes.
Within our general call center operations, we do require 1 year's call center experience. But if we look at our business process outsourcing industry in South Africa, which essentially is where we sit and where our staff sit in our global operations space, many of our 2,500 contact centers across South Africa only will require matric and very little to no experience. I think it's more around your softer skills and the right attitude and learning mindset that is actually going to get your foot in the door.
Let's unpack that a little bit. Let's talk about the different skill sets, Zoe, as well. You mentioned soft skills. Someone who has no knowledge of what soft skills are and what opportunities lie ahead, considering what skill set they may have. If you can just delve into that a bit.
So your soft skills that we would be referring to is your ability to communicate clearly. So your communication skills, written and verbal communication skills, resilience, emotional intelligence, and that really just talks to being able to bounce back. Because you are going to be dealing with customers, and it's not always going to be pleasant. So the ability to bounce back, your ability to collaborate with others and work well in a team. So those are some of the critical soft skills, and critical thinking and problem-solving skills are also just as important. And just to add to what Kelly mentioned about, requiring experience to be able to work in TransUnion Global Capability Center, we've also got an offering for those who don't have experience, which is our learnership program. And the learnership program is an opportunity for young people straight out of matric with no experience, no education. We then put them on a 12-month program where there's also a work readiness readiness element on that learnership program, where we actually train them to be able to, to communicate, learn resilience, digital skills, and so forth. And then they come and join us in the workplace for practical experience. And they end up being absorbed in our business. So we create opportunity for both experienced and inexperienced young people.
But you also have a story. Because that's where you also started. Sorry, someone told me.
But that was a while ago. So my learnership program didn't start in TransUnion, but I did start as a learner, as a call center learner. And the BPO sector at the time was fairly new. It was, I'm really not ashamed of my age, 2002 when I started my first role in a call center environment. And that was definitely the leg up that I needed. Within 6 months of being in a call center role as a learner, I moved into becoming a team leader. And, I've moved across different industries, and now I'm head of operations in TransUnion. So there's definitely opportunity for growth. You just need to be willing to learn and be willing to stretch yourself.
What is it about South Africans and looking down on call center agents? I'm not sure. I don't want to tell you my thoughts on it, but there's a myth that we need to debunk, so to speak, in today's podcast, because they think in call center, no, I'd rather stay home. No, I get it again, What is it about being a call center agent that you think South Africans are misunderstanding and they look down on that so much?
So I think that the youth of today need to see it as an opportunity. Our business processing outsourcing sector in South Africa is huge and it is growing. So if you want that opportunity, it is there for the taking. And if you look at the data, they're looking over the next 5 years or so to create an additional 500,000 jobs, where 90% of these hires, if you look at the data, are youth hires. So those are individuals that are below the age of 35. So if you are a school leaver, I would look at it as an opportunity. It is hard work, but you need to put up your hand, you need to take that first step, and it may not be your dream job, but it is an opportunity, as Zoe said, to get your foot in the door and take that next step, take that action today, because in 6 years or 10 years, you may be sitting in your dream job.
And why should they be looking at these career paths?
There's so much opportunity. Contact center, there's so much other support structures within the contact.
What do you call
Contact center.
Contact.
Yeah, because it encompasses your mail, your voice, and it's not just call center only. So there is different
because you see, that's where the misconception is. With South Africans, we call it just a call center. But you guys are calling it
a contact center.
Okay, elaborate on that.
So we call it a contact center because there's so many other lines of businesses within the contact center. So it's the primary contact that the customers make with the business. But you can make it through email, through chat, through voice, and so forth. So that's why we would call it a contact center. But what I was also going to mention is that within the contact center itself, there's also other departments that support the operations of a contact center. So there will be quality assurance, there will be workforce management, and a lot of people that have started as a contact center agent or a call center agent or an email agent, they move into these other roles, into QA roles, quality assurance, they move into trainer roles, so there's so much opportunity that it creates for you for being in a call, because you are familiar with the product, with the processes, and those are transferable skills that you learn and can move into other roles within the business.
Kaylee, tell me about the first-time applicants. So they get a learnership program, they're within GCC, but you also mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that it's a global company. So who exactly would I be working with or servicing?
So coming onto our learnership, you would be placed into a particular team which would support a region. By region, we would mean a country. And our biggest market within TransUnion, where we would service customers, is in the US. So say you are placed within a call center and you are dealing on a daily basis to solve queries with regards to customers in the US. After that learnership, you have the opportunity to apply for positions internally. That's where you would be working with my team and hopefully are absorbed permanently into a role. So you are able to apply for positions within that same team, or you would be able to now, say, apply for a call center role that is servicing the UK market, for example. And the beauty of it is that once you are permanent and part of TransUnion, you are available to apply for positions, which means that you could be working on a daily basis with global customers and have global managers and interactions on a daily basis. And the other opportunity is that once you are part of a permanent company or a permanent position in a company such as TransUnion, where we offer sponsored education. So you could come into a call center, you work here for 2 years, and then you can say, I'm really interested in this, or I want to pursue a career in legal. You are able to then study through TransUnion at no cost, because TransUnion is now paying for that. And I think that's where you can also see the opportunity in terms of join a call center, because I might be able to study through their company. You're learning while you are earning a salary.
That sounds
how you
perfect.
Perfect. And that's how you can then move internally and essentially flourish in your career at TransUnion.
And what opportunities are being overlooked by the actual job seekers? Why do you think this information is flying above their heads, or they're not connecting with it, or they don't know about it?
I think it's the myth around learnerships. And also, maybe it's not necessarily the myth. In some cases, learners are not treated well in organizations, and they're not necessarily exposed to the best of the opportunities available. So people sometimes are scared. And we also have what we now call career learners. Learners, they go on a learnership, they complete 12 months, and then they don't get absorbed. Then they go on another learnership and so forth. So people become very despondent. So I think from a learnership perspective, it's that myth around that, there's no growth when you get on a learnership. And I think also it's not a learnership. It doesn't pay as well. It's a stipend. So the financial component of it as well probably makes them overlook it, because if I'm going to get, let's say, 4,000 rand a month, it's not going to be much to support me and my family. Because again, our young people, they're supporting families. As soon as they're out of matric, they have responsibilities. So those are the opportunities they overlook, because maybe from an earning perspective and from the exposure perspective. But I honestly believe that you must just put yourself out there. And if a learnership opportunity, or if there is an opportunity, even if you feel that it might not be that great, just give it a try. Just, apply and see where it takes you. I mean, I've actually got, sorry, I know that I'm talking a lot, but I've got a success story.
You're not.
One of our learners, we recently did a profile on her. She was unemployed, straight out of matric. She's got 2 kids. And she was hustling and just selling perfumes and selling whatever, Tupperware and whatever that she could. She got on our learnership program, and she's now, I think she's been with us for about 3 years. So she finished her learnership program. She moved into different departments after being absorbed. And one of the departments where she's made the most impact is our legal operations. She now works directly with the US legal operations team. And she went and completed a paralegal qualification. Now that she's completed that, she got promoted to the next level, and now she's pursuing her LLB degree. And just from becoming a call center agent, who knew that would be her path? So there's so much opportunity.
But that also brings us back to South Africans, and I'm still part of this stat where we are told you need to get a degree. You need to go. It needs to be a degree. You need to get a post. You need to get. And then you'll get the job. But I don't think that's how things are anymore.
I think school leavers really need to think differently. It's not about getting a degree and after 3 years, what we are seeing is that the youth unemployment of graduates is even increasing. So getting that 3-year degree does not mean that at the end of all that hard work, all that financial strain that you've put into completing your degree, it doesn't always mean that you're going to get a job at the end of the day. So I think within companies, people are looking for people who can add value and solve problems. And they're looking for someone with the right attitude, because I can teach you and enhance your Excel skills, and I can teach you how to build a dashboard. But I can't teach you to have a learning mindset and to be resilient and to, be hungry to learn and put up your hand to do new things. And that's what companies these days are looking for. So I also think that the world is changing so fast with this digital evolution that we're on, is that the little bite-sized learnings that you can gain.
So the short courses.
Short courses. So a 3-month course, a 6-month certification. And if you look online, there are free courses available through Microsoft, through Google, Coursera, podcasts, YouTube. There are a lot of free tools that are available to us. And all it does is to say, this week, I want to achieve X. And just learn a little bit every day. Be 1% better than you were yesterday.
And I hear you. I want to come in there because now I hear what you're saying, but you still have corporate South Africa saying you need to have a 3-year degree first to our youth that are trying to get to these jobs. And there's a lot of that still out there. So how do we mitigate and tell this story and this journey that it doesn't necessarily have to go the route that everybody else is using. You don't have to go this route, the degree, do the short courses, because very seldom do you hear corporate South Africa saying, we'll employ you even just with your 3 months course or your 6 months course. So there's a disconnect somehow there.
Yeah. I think there's definitely also needs to be a change of mindset within corporate South Africa. Organizations need to find a way of meeting young people halfway. I know that learnerships can only go, that far, but I think from the stringent requirements, they need to be loosened a bit, for lack of a better word, because it's just really creating unemployment. Because there's also unemployed graduates, because they don't have experience. So when do they actually
So they want you to have a degree and an experience
before you're hired.
So I mean, I think it's just organizations need to also, play their part, take responsibility.
And what skills are most valuable in operations today? Because that's where you are.
Analytics. Really critical. We help identify opportunities. We help identify where, there is risks and so forth. So analytics is really important. I will never stop hunting around customer support. Every organization has a customer of sort. So there always has to be problems that need to be solved. There's queries that need to be solved. So customer support is just as important. I think also, roles such as people that so I've mentioned analytics. I've mentioned customer support. But also I think back office support is also just as critical as well. Because you need someone who's going to sort out, if there is a query. You need someone who's going to look at it and investigate that query. So back office support is also just as critical.
And Kelly, from your side, the digital skills perhaps that are now becoming more essential as we look at jobs of the future?
Yeah. So I think, basic digital literacy is important. And so your basic Excel, being able to log onto a Teams call, your basic Outlook, that is important.
That's true.
So your digital literacy, but even at a basic level, is important, because that's the future of our world, of our continent at the moment. But coupled with that is things like your communication skills and in our operations space, your customer service skills. And that could mean that you're a waiter or a waitress. On a daily basis, you are dealing with customers. They are demanding. They can be difficult. They can be frustrated. That's a very good example of where you can gain very good customer skills and take that as a transferable skill into a call center, for example. So I think people just need to think a little bit differently. Even volunteer work, you might not be paid to do the work, but if there's any kind of opportunity to work at a market or assist your uncle somewhere, don't say no. Just be open to it, because you never know who you're going to meet along the way, who you're going to communicate, and immediately you are creating that open mindset, that learning mindset, and your attitude. And I think that speaks volumes.
All right, so let's talk about, as we wrap things up now, the opportunities are there at TransUnion and GCC. What would set anyone apart should they want to join? I'm going to touch on the learnerships with you shortly as well. But what are other opportunities there now? You can say, go to our website, apply now.
Correct.
What kind of do you even call them career pathways or vacancies or jobs? What is out there?
Yes, so I would call it career pathways and vacancies. So we do advertise all our positions on our TransUnion website, which is transunion.com, and you could go onto our careers page. So we advertise all our positions there. And typically it would be in our contact center space. About 800 of our staff are working in the contact center. So it would be customer services. It would be your voice agents that are on the phones. It would be email. So I'm doing email correspondence with my customers, or chat, as well as your back office functions. And then it could even be within our global marketing team, or legal risk and compliance, or cybersecurity. Their certifications are almost more important than a completed degree, for example. Same with your software development space. I think the narrative is changing a little bit, where it's not all about the degrees. If I'm sitting ever with a hiring manager and getting a brief on what are you looking for, what type of person are you looking for this position, they often are talking about the soft skills. So they're talking about, I want someone who can critically analyze something. I want someone who's a problem solver. I want someone who's got good analytical skills, good communication skills, who can deal with stakeholders across the globe. They very seldom talk about, I need someone who has, excellent Excel skills, because I can teach someone Excel skills.
That's true. All right, so those are some of the soft skills that one would certainly stand out if you have those. And the learnership programs that are currently there at the moment, and those that are coming fresh from matric, perhaps that are in grade 11 at the moment, or grade 12 at the moment as well?
So typically we would have different programs. So one of the programs is the Contact Center Operations Program. All our programs are NQF 5, so they're all SAQA certified programs through the CETAs. A business administration program, which is more primarily for our back office support. We've had data analytics program, and we've also had, last year we had cybersecurity learnership program. And all of them, they run between 12 to 15 months, and you don't need any experience. You don't need any tertiary qualification.
As well,
so we've got an email where you can email your details, your CV, your matric certificate, as well as your ID copies. And when we start with the recruitment process, then we would, we would contact you. But we also work with SA Youth as well. So we also source our young people from the SA Youth platform. So I think I would recommend that you register with the SA Youth, and then we could be able to pull your details from there. Or then I can also share our email address for applications.
I know we've talked a lot about the youth, that's 18 to 35. But what if someone wants to pivot and they're 38? What opportunities are there for them?
Absolutely. They again can see what transferable skills they've gained through their career. I think most of us are probably not sitting today in the career that we thought about when we were 18 years old. So I think most people probably pivot in their careers. And I think it's about thinking, what are the skills that I do have, and then see how it makes sense to apply for a role in HR or marketing or legal, for example. So I think you've just got to think about what are the transferable skills that can take me from one career to another.
And someone is holding their CVs at the moment. What is the one thing they should update immediately?
For me, an updated CV is critical. The first thing that I would do, or my piece of advice, is I would actually jot down, or on your phone, I would say, what are my transferable skills? What are my soft skills? And what are my technical skills? And what is my interest? Am I really good with my hands? Am I creative? Can I sell anything to anybody? Think about, what do you enjoy? What are you good at? And from there, I would build an updated CV. And don't just say no experience, because everyone can say something. So think about, maybe you involved in a community program. Maybe it was an NGO that you helped out
and
at.
That's often what people don't put on their CVs.
They don't put it on.
Their experiences.
Especially as a school leaver. I always say, what subjects did you do in matric? Why did you do that? How did you approach your exams? What teams were you involved with? What community outreach programs? Put that in. Tell me a story, because that is going to set you apart from your friend who's got a CV that says no experience.
And what habits should young professionals develop at the moment?
Sure. Definitely discipline, and starting something and finishing it.
Yes.
I've not recently, but in the past couple of years, I've been running quite a bit. I do quite a lot of marathons and stuff. And one of the things that I've learned from that is consistency and discipline is the one skill that you need. So I think if you...
So you the 4 a.m. gang. Because marathons are... I've been there, done that. Yeah, the 4 a.m., 3 a.m. gang.
So, so consistency will get you the results.
Yeah.
Discipline will get you the results. Starting in something and finishing something will get you the results.
And what can they look forward to if they want to not compete? Because AI is there to assist us. What would they do? What would you advise a young person do at the moment? Everything seems easy because they put in their essay and they ask chat to redo their essay. But how do they empower themselves within the AI world that we're living in, especially within your organization?
Yeah. So I think two things. So one is that AI is not necessarily taking away your job. So as a school leaver, don't be scared of that. Jobs are evolving because we are living in this digital age. The second thing is that you need to use AI as your friend, but don't let AI replace you. So please do not say, create a CV for me.
And
that's it. And that's it. Please don't do that. So make it your own. Use it to support you. Use it to prepare for an interview. But do not read it. Do not copy it, because if every other person is doing the same, then you are all regurgitating and saying the same thing. So I would just be cautious about letting AI replace it all. Use it as a guide, use it as a tool, but always check it and don't only use AI as the only option.
Someone is taking bites of this conversation. What should they take home be from their couch today? Zoe.
I think their takeaway should be take whatever opportunity that is in front of you. Explore it, see where it gets you.
Yourself? Simple. Yeah?
Simple. I think we need to steer away from the doom and gloom. We know the reality that is out there, but it is. I think we need to meet each other halfway. I think you need to take action, create that CV, go and find an online course that you can do for free. And if you can be 1% better than you were yesterday, you're taking one step forward.
Improve the soft skills.
Improve the soft skills and just be open to learning.
And of course, go to your website because the opportunities are there. What is the website again?
TransUnion.com, and then click on our careers page and it'll take you to our available vacancies.
And that also goes with the GCC platform?
Correct.
And you can also follow us on LinkedIn as well.
LinkedIn, Instagram. There's a lot of information on our LinkedIn site as well.
Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us on our podcast today. Hopefully, we see lots of young people and older people joining your organization. Now, if you've been listening today, you should really know what opportunities are there, what we've unpacked, why they matter, how to access them, and what skills are required, what action you at home can take immediately. And that's honestly what the mission of this podcast is, the Career Launch Network, helping people from curiosity to opportunity. Till next time, goodbye.